I am trying to see how far I can go in a Minecraft Superflat world with no structures, and just a bonus chest with apples and a small amount of wood. I can't go to the nether, or to the end, and I can't even raid villages. But in the last 200 days, what I have done is, built a mob farm out of dirt, killed zombies for iron, collected water from rain with a cauldron, converted and killed drowns for copper, crafted a lightning rod and converted pigs into zombified piglins for gold, crafted golden apples, convinced a witch to throw a weakness potion at a zombie villager, converted the villager and traded for emeralds, and waited for the wandering trader to offer saplings, and then I was ready for base building. And that's the story so far. Let's see what we can do in another 100 days. On day 1 I checked my storage area for the resources, and it's not good. The wood was okay, but everything else definitely not good. The iron farm is still working though, so I took it all and traded with the villagers to stock up on emeralds. Harvested and replanted the carrots and bred the pigs, as I don't want to neglect the animals this time. I also realised that my fishing wasn't successful last time because the water was only 1 deep and then flowing down. So I placed dirt to remove the top layers of water and dug them out. Found the bottom 2 were okay, so filled in the other 3 layers so they were all water sources. I tried fishing and the first one was a no-slow shell. I can't do anything with that, but it's the first treasure category catch I've found, so I'm happy that's working now. The sun was already setting though, and an enderman was looking at me menacingly, so I decided to chop down some trees, but didn't have any planted. So I got some oak saplings down next to the flowers, and also a big block of acacia, as this will be needed later. I spent the night on another project, which was a great suggestion from the comments on the last video. I grabbed some tripwire hooks from the fishing loot. I could have crafted these, but I already had some. 2 pieces of string, 2 trapdoors, and some wood. I built this in the other mob farm building. First a chest with the hoppers pointing into them, upside down stairs on the top, and then a small oak structure around the back. Trapdoors at the back with water behind them, and tripwire hooks to the side. Now this simple contraction here will give me infinite string if I can get it working, because the difficulty here is I need a lever, but I can't craft one, so just using a torch on top instead. All I need to do is shear the string, then quickly break the torch. Obviously failed the first time, so I reset everything, and then second time went perfectly. I can now just leave this running and craft it into wool every now and then so it doesn't fill up. On day 2 plenty of trees had grown, but I'd planted the oak on the wrong side, so I had a large tree to deal with. I got all the oak chopped down, and the good news was there were 2 more bee nests. I decided to move the oak to the other side so no more big trees, and then chop down the dark oak. Only got enough saplings back to plant 3 trees, which is worrying, so as night fell I got on with chopping the acacia. When I eventually got through them all and replanted, the night was almost over, so I went to check on the string. It had stopped, but I did have plenty. I think it might be because I had logged out, so I might just need restarting every time. Anyway, I got that going again, and then on day 3, to start the day, I began with breeding the pigs, which I must remember now to do every day. I'm back to chopping down dark oak, and I am down to 3 trees, so need more saplings. After chopping them down and collecting enough saplings for 5 trees, the day was almost over. I then grabbed my remaining dirt, which is less than 2 stacks, and I noticed my shovel had seen better days, so I bought another one and used that to repair my main one. Came down below the base where I had previously filled everything with water and started placing dirt to section it off. Then removed the top layer of water, as these were the only water sources. With this section complete, I could dig out all of the dirt down to bedrock. And I spent the rest of the night doing this to stock up and remove the water below the main build. On day 4, after clearing a very small section, my inventory was almost full of dirt, so definitely a good way to stock up. Checked on the string and all 4 chests were almost full, so I crafted up a ton of wool. I checked on the mob farm drops and threw away all the gunpowder as I have no need for it. Same with the rotten flesh, then crafted all the bones into bone meal and then bone blocks. After that I got on with chopping down the acacia, but realised I hadn't fed the pigs today, so ran over, grabbed some carrots and bred the pigs. Back to the acacia, and this time remembered to use my hoe to remove the leaves first, and spent the rest of the night chopping down trees. Day 5 got all the trees replanted. My inventory was full, so I dropped everything off, and I had so much I needed to start another wood chest. That's got to be a good sign, right? I checked on the string and it was full again, so I crafted up quite a lot of wool and then decided to turn it off, as I think I'm good for now. Back to the water removal, but this time used the bottle to convert the dirt into mud. And after doing a fairly large area, I dug all of this up and repeated the whole process for the next layer down, and digging this up got me down to bedrock. I then used dirt again to remove the water, and this went on into day 6. I got all of that dug down to bedrock and ended up with over 9 stacks of mud, but only 18 wheat. Hopefully I have some more. I checked the chest next to the wheat field and had a lot more in there, but should really do a harvest. I had forgotten the pigs again though, so got those bred and then got on with harvesting the wheat. After that was done, I picked up everything from the first pass, dropped the wheat off and got back on with replanting. By the time that was finished, it was night again, so I crafted the wheat and mud into packed mud, and at night it was back to converting the dirt into mud. On day 7, I was attacked by a slime and continued with the mud conversion. Grabbed some dirt and section off the water so I could dig up the mud, then converted the low layers and dig that up, and finally remove the water, and continue repeating this process into the night. On day 8, I did have a decent amount of mud, and as the sun rose, it started raining. I went to drop everything off, and a couple of skeletons were fighting, so after finishing those off, I turned on the light levels to try and figure out where they had spawned, but a baby zombie attacked me. I was handling it fine, but then a creeper ended the fight prematurely. I got everything back and repaired the damage, then dropped everything off. I then worked out the only place mobs could have spawned was inside the block of acacia trees, so decided to spend the day chopping down trees. I was thinking I should really breed the pigs as well, but then a thunderstorm started, so I jumped down and there was another creeper waiting, which made another mess. I got over to the pigs and quite a few were now zombified piglins, so I started swiping away and one managed to get out. No panic though, and I got 5 gold ingots from that batch. Whilst I was here, I bought an Unbreaking 2 axe so I could upgrade my axe to Unbreaking 3, and also another diamond hoe for clearing the leaves. I got my axe upgraded, and there were already more zombified piglins waiting to part with their gold. After clearing these, I bred up the pigs as there were hardly any left. I thought that was it for the lightning, but then another strike converted most of the new babies. Killed all of those, then moved the pigs over to the other end as the lightning continued. Decided to sleep through this night to save the pigs. On day 9, first job tried breeding the pigs, but none of them were ready yet. Then remembered I had 2 villagers that bought white wool, and I had loads from the string farm, so I grabbed as much as I could carry and traded it all with the shepherds, then traded a bit of iron to stock up on emeralds. Hopefully the wandering trader will appear soon with something good to offer. I got back to chopping down trees with my upgraded axe and new hoe. The day was then almost over, so just carried on with the other trees. On day 10, time to start building, so I grabbed a small amount of dirt I had and started building a framework for where the next section of the temple will be going. I quickly ran out of dirt doing this though, so back underneath to dig out some more and remove the water while I'm at it. I spent all night doing this and ended up with more dirt than I could carry. On day 11, I carried on with the dirt platform above. The problem here is this is a slime chunk, which won't be spawnable when finished as this is going to be a pool, but at this point I've been getting a bit of easy slime. After this, I used the last of my wheat to craft the packed mud and worked through the night placing the floor for this new temple build. On day 12, I was using a lot of packed mud, so I decided to work on getting some brown mushroom blocks to vary it up a bit. Mushrooms can't have sky access to grow, so this platform above should work, which it did. Used my silk touch axe to chop them down again, but the problem now was this axe was nearly gone. Luckily, I could buy another one for 11 emeralds. And then combine them to make it Unbreaking 3, and hopefully this will last a little bit longer. Bred the pigs, and then got on with growing and chopping mushrooms. Ended up with a few stacks, so I used these to vary the texture in the floor. The slimes got in the way though, so after dealing with the slimes, I spent the night building the pool out of mud brick slabs and stairs. On day 13, finished the corners off with some pillars, topped with campfires and surrounded by dark oak trapdoors. Nearly died building the first one, but got that done and then the other 3. Finally filled the pool in with water. The pool is done, but now I really wanted to get on with the temple. First though, I remembered to breed the pigs. Also, that pool had used up most of my packed mud, so I spent the night harvesting the other wheat field, and once it was replanted, the night was almost over, so I bred the cows with the wheat, then used the rest to turn the mud into packed mud. On day 14, I grabbed all of my dirt, placed a bigger platform around the pool, did this on each side, but this just meant the slimes could spawn again, so I covered the dirt with mud brick slabs. I spent the rest of the night removing water and digging up the dirt below. I had a bit of a lighting issue, but cleared up the mess. And then on day 15, wore on my shovel, so I bought another one and tried to repair it, but didn't have enough levels. So I decided to just leave my good one here until I could repair it, and then harvested the carrots, bred the pigs, and did a bit of trading for emeralds, but also for levels. As it was raining, I decided to spend the rest of the day fishing. Mainly got just fish, but eventually did get a better fishing rod, so carried on fishing for the rest of the night. Didn't get much, but the new rod should help next time, and because of mending, it was fully repaired. On day 16, I bred the pigs, went back to spawn to see if I could get a black sheep, killed all the mobs I saw, but no black sheep spawning. The day was nearly over, so I dug out another slime chunk for dirt, and by the time I finished, it was night, so I got back in my boat and went home. I spent another night fishing, again, only fish. But then as the sun rose on day 17, I got saddled, so decided to spend another day doing this and maybe get a mending book for my shovel. I spent the whole day and night fishing, ended up with a few treasure drops, but mainly name tags, so no books, bows or bow upgrades, but at least I'm getting treasure. On day 18, I bred the pigs, got back to converting dirt into mud, sectioned off the water with dirt and remembered to light it up this time, and got a hole there done, then dug it out and started on the next. Got it done as the sun came up, and then on day 19 put the mud into storage, but no wheat left, so after breeding the pigs, I spent the rest of the day harvesting wheat, and by the time I got the second field replanted, it was night, so crafted the mud into packed mud, then back to fishing all night, but this time nothing but fish. On day 20 I bred the pigs, chopped trees, acacia, oak, dark oak, and replanted, and then after a full day of chopping down trees, it was back to fishing. Definitely going to get a mending book. Okay, no mending book, but did much better this time. Infinity, Power 4 bow, Unbreaking 3 book, but Curse of Vanishing, and an Efficiency 3 book. not too bad. On day 21, I combined my bows to get power 5 and infinity, but that used 30 of my levels. Decided to finally get on with some building, so grabbed packed mud and acacia and started marking out the front pillars for the new temple building. First the mud bricks at the base, then acacia on the top, and using dirt to fill in all the unseen blocks. Forgot to bring the trapdoors. Luckily, I was smart enough to place the water to get back down. Pro skills. Built this pillar again at the other side, but it was already night. Looking good, but I wanted the rest done. So on day 22, I built one of the large pillars on the higher sections. This will be a big structure, but just building the front for now and connecting across the top to the other two. The rain spoiled the mood, so decided to switch back to fishing. I got a look at the C2 rod, so combined it with my current one for an upgrade. And there goes my anvil. The rain stopped just before the end of the night, so continued until the next day. On day 23, I realised I'd put the dark oak trapdoors at a different level, so I changed the ones on the middle pillars. I built a bigger tower at the other side, all the connecting bits in between, and finally a trim around the top edge to start to tie everything together. On day 24, I started with a bit of resource gathering, harvesting carrots, breeding the pigs, and checked out the new part of the build in the rain. I got on with one of the grindy bits of the build and placed a ton of mud brick walls in the big corner pillars, acacia logs on the corners, and tried a water bucket clutch. Build. I'm so good at this game. As it was raining, I got on with some fishing. The rain stopped and I was bored of fishing, so back to farming mud for the night. On day 25, I discovered my oak trees weren't growing, and it's probably due to the low light levels because of the platform above. So I placed down some pumpkins and shaded them, dug them all up and crafted them into jack-o'-lanterns. I placed these down next to the oak trees and spent the rest of the day chopping down trees. On day 26, back to building the main temple build. Firstly, laying the bases for the rest of the pillars, building two of the smaller side pillars, and of course it started raining to spoil another time lapse. Then marked out the logs on the walls on one of the rear larger towers, and no prizes for guessing what I did whilst it was raining. On day 27, I started the day crafting and breaking campfires to stock up on charcoal. I repeated this process until I had a couple of stacks of charcoal, and then crafted a few more campfires and placed these below the beehives, as I should really spend some time on harvesting honey and honeycomb. I noticed a big patch in the middle of the wheat field that I didn't replant, so I got on with harvesting the rest so I could get this filled in. As I was replanting, the wandering trader finally spawned. I was hoping for sugarcane, as that would be a game changer for villages. Nope. Nothing good, so I just stocked up on the items I can't get any other way. And this time that was packed ice and red sand. The wandering trader then seemed to vanish. I then used my silk touch axe to pick up all the bee nests from the tree farm and place these with the others. While I was there, I bred them up a bit and harvested some more honey, allowing me to craft my first honey blocks. On day 28, after a full day of farming, I wanted to get back to building, so another day building the two smaller pillars at the other side of the temple. I forgot to bring torches, and by the time I realised it was night, so I had a few unwanted guests to deal with. I built up another corner of the largest tower to get back up and made it safe again. I forgot the water again, so let's have another go at the water bucket clutch. Nailed it. Then onto the larger towers, placing the walls. On day 29, I spent most of the day just placing acacia and mud brick walls for the larger towers. Really getting through all the packed mud bricks, crafting these walls, place some of the fancy details at the top, including lanterns to help with the spawn proofing. And at night, I built one of the smaller pillars at the back. On day 30, I got on with the big corner tower, placing the acacia in the corners and the mud brick walls in between. This continued into the night, but I discovered I was again out of mud bricks, so I spent the night converting and harvesting mud. This continued into the next day, and I ended up spending the next 2 days stocking up on mud and dirt and removing the water as I went. On day 33, I checked the results, and not too bad, so crafted as much mud as I could. Definitely need more wheat, but that can wait. Firstly, I wanted to get this structure much closer to being finished, so I spent the next 2 days building up one side above the pillars, including some detailing with emerald blocks, which I definitely don't have enough of. Very quickly ran out of mud again though, so I spent the night harvesting wheat. On day 35, still raining, so I spent the day chopping down trees, crafting bone blocks and chopping more trees. On day 36, I bred the pigs, crafted the rest of the packed mud, more building of the temple started with another small tower, then moving on to the roof with mainly acacia slabs with bands of mud brick slabs to break it all up, and lots of buttons for spawn proofing. I built up the main peak at the front so I can see the main shape, then started the next section of the roof. On day 37, looking good, even in the rain, and then bred the pigs, traded iron to stock up on emerald blocks needed for the temple, sheared the sheep, and as it was raining, I was fishing day and night. When the rain stopped, I'd had enough of fishing. I got mainly fish, but also a lure to book, so I added that to my rod, and as the sun was rising, I put everything away for next time. Day 38 was spent tree chopping, ready for some building, and by the time I was done, the sun was setting. I checked out the mob drops, but still okay for now, so I just grabbed the bones and the witch drops. I spent another night fishing, which was then interrupted by an enderman. On day 39, I harvested honeycomb, and back to building, and built up the decorative blocks at the front of the roof, using emerald blocks, bone blocks, and white wool. I then finished off the acacia slab trim, and that is at least looking finished, so I spent the night night building up the rest of the roof. And this continued into the next day and night. On day 41 I was still running low on emerald blocks for the build, so I traded everything I could, but still need more. Did another wheat harvest as going to need more mud soon, and spent another rainy night fishing. Day 42, mud conversion and digging. On day 43 I built a large tower inside the temple, and then added lots of details with walls and fences and lanterns for lights. On day 44, another wandering trader. No sugarcane, but he had jungle saplings and also lime dye, which I don't believe I can get any other way. Then had a baby zombie inspection, planted the jungle saplings, shared some pumpkins and crafted jack-o'-lanterns, and then started the ceiling of the temple, and as I was on a roll I finished off the ceiling and added the details included walls, fences and lanterns. By day 45 the temple was almost complete, but just missing the emerald blocks. So back to trading iron and wool for more emeralds, bred some more villagers, then grabbed one and turned it into a fisherman. Cycling through the trades was a little bit stubborn, but eventually gave the trade for string, and as I have infinite string I can trade for more emeralds, then got 2 more fishermen in. Started day 46 after the trades reset, trading string and iron. 38 emerald blocks, not bad, but not enough as I need 24 for each tower. I only need under 17 though, so a bit more trading, and I got to the stage where there's 2 more blocks to go, but nighttime, so back to chopping down trees, including the jungle, which I completely forgot about. On day 47 I got the last emerald blocks I needed and added these to the last tower in the temple. Remembered I had to do the face at the back, which again needed emerald blocks. Nearly there. Bit more string trading, and didn't quite get enough, but it started raining, so went back to fishing. On day 48 did another wheat harvest, but just as I got started the lightning started, so I waited near the pig pen ready for the zombified piglins and spent the rest of the day killing these and ended up with another 7 gold ingots. Definitely needed a better system for this though. On day 49 back to the wheat harvest and remembering to breed the pigs back up. Traded for emeralds to gather the remaining blocks needed for the temple. Too short. So traded wool to get these and finished off the main building. I then traded some more iron to stock back up on the emeralds. Day 50 I crafted up all of the mud and wheat into packed mud. Then got on with a huge expansion for the base, which hopefully will mean more wandering traders spawning. On day 51 I continued the dirt platform until I ran out of dirt, then got on with digging dirt below for the rest of the night. I used my freshly dug dirt to finish off the section of the platform I'm going to be building on, and by doing this created a spot for slimes to spawn. The building is going to have a slab floor, so I put this in first and path blocked the rest to fix the slime problem. Then back to spawn to stock up on dirt. A thunderstorm cut that short though, so back to the pigs, which I hadn't been feeding, so pretty pointless. So I then slept through the storm to keep them safe. On day 54 I first combined axes to upgrade to Fortune 3. I grew my last 2 jungle saplings and used my new axe on all of them to get some more. I ended up with 3, so not too bad. I spent the rest of the day stocking up on acacia and replanting them on new platform as above, as I'm going to need a lot. I filled in a bit more dirt and noticed an accidental mob farm. On day 55, waiting for the acacia to grow, I tried my luck again with the jungle saplings. They slowly started to increase and I ended up with 10, and by this time the acacia was getting there. I got on with some other jobs, fed the pigs, harvested the honey and sheared the sheep. I forgot about my mob issue during the day, so was smart and fixed it all at night. Then removed a bit more water and converted some dirt into mud. I then spent 3 whole days chopping down the acacia trees. I did remember to breed the pigs while doing this, but mainly chopping down trees. On day 59 I started building up the platform and staircase between my storage room and the new build. I did have an inspection from a baby zombie riding a chicken. I then continued the staircase through the night and all of day 60 and built a small room at the back of my storage to get back quicker. On day 61 I converted and dug more mud. Got a little bit but then realised I needed wheat. Luckily, already had some, so bred the pigs instead. And finally, crafted the packed mud. On day 62, the rain came, so started another section for the mud and dirt. Dug all that up, had a few mob issues, but got it done. On day 63, I used my new dirt to complete the top platform at the other side. I built 2 new pig pens on it, and moved the pigs by just using carrots, and of course, they were all really helpful. And by the 3rd run, they had all scattered, so just got what I could, and then spent most of the day cleaning up. Cooked up the pork in the super smelter and spent the night harvesting wheat for the packed mud. On day 65 I sorted out the overflow at the mob farm, crafted bones into bone blocks. To help with getting around easy I added another tunnel near the storage room and a staircase up to the new building. This is definitely going to make things easier. On day 66 I worked on the inner floor layout and pillar placement. Lots of slabs for the floor, and now you can see why I chopped down all those acacia trees. I spent the night converting mud and then spent the whole next day stocking up. Also a little bit more wheat. On day 68 I had enough packed mud, I think, so I got on with the build. Slabbed the floor outside, started with the staircases to make getting up and down easier. I didn't get very far before another thunderstorm started, but my pig supply definitely wasn't there yet. I used carrots to gather them around the lightning rod and that worked a bit better, so back to building in the rain. On day 69, I managed to get the external and internal staircases built and a little bit of a platform inside. I bred the pigs, and there was a wandering trader in the pumpkin patch. Not great, but bought more jungle saplings as quite difficult to renew, and also got some sea pickles. I will get sugarcane one day, but not today. I built up some more pillars with acacia and spent a lot of time on the central raised room, even including the details around the edge. On day 70, another wandering trader already. No sugarcane again, but another wood type is always welcome. Only bought 2 of these as they are the easiest to farm. With these, we just need to bone meal the leaves to get more. Chopping down the trees is another story, so I'll leave that there for now. Back to building, started placing the upper ceiling out of slabs to prevent the slime spawning, but definitely have lighting issues. So I started placing the columns of acacia around the outside, and on day 71 I got one side done, then finished off the slab ceiling, added a few more acacia columns, and as the sun set and rain started, I had finished all the acacia columns. I had a break from building and bred the pigs, and did a bit of fishing through the night. On day 72, it's still raining, so just random tasks. Harvesting carrots, shearing sheep, breeding the pigs, chopped down the mango tree, not fun, chopped down the oak to make room for an idea. I wanted some blocks for variation in the dirt and packed mud, so placed down some dirt and grew azalea trees on top, which turns the dirt into rooted dirt. On day 73, I added some mud brick stairs around the roof, and of course it started raining, so back to fishing. Day 74, still raining, but got on with some of the details around the pillars. By the end of the day, got all of the decorative bits done, and started the higher internal section. Bit more decorating inside, actually quite a lot more, pretty much out of mud though, so after feeding the pigs, back to farming mud. On day 76, as the sun rose, it started raining, so spent the rest of the day doing this. The rain stopped just as the sun set, so spent the night harvesting wheat to craft the packed mud. Day 77 with the packed mud crafted, I finished the build, mud brick details, a slab ceiling, and outlined the shape of the roof. On day 78, I killed a slime that had been annoying me all night. I started building the rest of the roof, but then another wandering trader, still no sugarcane, so just bought the things I can't get in the world. Packed ice and flowers I can use for decoration later. Continued the roof through the night, and on day 79 continued with the roof and got that finished, and then added the buttons for spawn proofing, filled in the wool at the other end, and that's this building done. Just need to work on the floor, and would you believe it, another wandering trader. And yes, sugarcane. First time ever I didn't have a stack of emeralds on me, so I bought what I could, then ran to my trading hall for more. Luckily it was still there when I got back, so bought everything. Also glowstone, as I don't get that much from my mob farm, and a bucket of pufferfish because why not? After breeding the pigs, I got the sugarcane planted next to the trading hall, as I will be probably spending a lot of time here. And the sugarcane is game changing, because sugarcane means paper, paper means books, bookshelves and lecterns means librarian villages, which means I can trade for enchanted books including mending, also glass, which is a huge change. So I bred the villagers ready and bred the cows because I'm going to need leather. On day 80 I got on with mud conversion while waiting for the sugarcane to grow, harvested and expanded the sugarcane and harvested the carrots to breed the pigs. On day 81, growing azalea trees to farm the rooted dirt, continued expanding the sugarcane but slow going, and traded a bit of iron to stock up on emeralds and crafted myself an iron chest plate. I removed the mushroom blocks from the old pig pen and added water in ready to expand my sugarcane farm. Bit more mud conversion through the night, and on day 82 I dug up the fresh mud. Cycling through the village trade was going to take some time, so grabbed enough sugarcane for 4 books to craft a lectern and a spare book. I grabbed the villager and placed the lectern down, but he wasn't playing, so got him into a cell and started cycling through the trades, and after not too long I got what I was looking for, mending. It was 20 emeralds, but I'm okay with that, so bought it and put that straight onto my axe, as it's looking a bit worse for wear. I harvested and replanted the sugarcane and even got one in the new area. Did a bit more trading for XP and then bred some animals for a bit more, and another wandering trader. Not as exciting as sugarcane, but with black dye I can now get black and dark grey wool. Also melon seeds, and might as well get the magenta dye. On day 83 I got the melon seeds planted and dyed 2 sheep black and bred those with the white sheep to get 2 dark grey. I sheared the sheep while I was here, expanded the sugarcane farm, carried on trading, and my axe was as good as new. I spent the night on another wheat harvest and crafted it into packed mud. On day 84, I put the mud to use and tidied up the area around the back of the new building. I started with the wall going all the way along the side, then filling in the floor with packed mud, mixing in a bit of dirt and brown mushroom blocks for variation, and then bred the pigs. On day 85, I harvested the sugarcane and got on with a second villager. Very quickly got Unbreaking 3 for 11 emeralds, and this villager sold bookshelves, which means I don't have to wait for the sugarcane to grow to craft books. So I grabbed some emeralds and bought enough to unlock the next trade. Frostwalker 1, not great. Did the same with the mending villager, and this time didn't get a book trade. So I bought lanterns to unlock the next one, and this unlocked glass. Then his next trade was Silk Touch, which was now at 2 emeralds, so I had to get a few of those. I then filled in the rest of the sugarcane farm so I can eventually use the paper for trading. I added a mending book to my shovel and traded iron for XP. Also slabbed the water to make the harvesting easier. On day 86, I dyed some of the white sheep grey as I have an idea for the grey wool. Did another wheat harvest, crafted up some packed mud, bred the pigs, and finished off the floor on the top level, working through the rain and hoping for a thunderstorm. I used a lot of mushroom blocks and dirt to save on the packed mud, and then on day 87 got the floor finished and still raining but no thunder. So I used up most of my packed mud, which meant back to mud conversion, and kept on top of the sugarcane harvesting. On day 88, we're approaching the end of these 300 days, so time to get started on terraforming. I did a little bit along the edge, but avoiding the slime chunks to deal with later, and doing this I noticed a big gap in the build behind the string farm. So got on with placing all the packed mud down there after the basic platform, completely out of dirt and mud. So on day 90, a trip to spawn for dirt, killed a few slimes first to repair my mending shovel, then dug out 2 slime chunks, then went on the mud by harvesting wheat. On day 91, I bred the pigs and crafted the packed mud. The rain stopped and I got on with finishing the new platform and adding a staircase to the next level. On day 92, I started building the wall for the top section, but ran out of mud. Again, back to harvesting wheat for the packed mud and used it to get the wall finished off and started tying it together to the landscape with more dirt. On day 93, I wanted to continue the landscape with moss, but I couldn't find it anywhere, and then remembered I built a cow pen over the moss that I previously had, so I went down there and grabbed 1 block and also some bone meal and got to work spreading it over the new hill. At night I bred the pigs, definitely getting the numbers up now, harvested the sugarcane and sold some paper and bought some more glass. I then carved some pumpkins to craft jack-o'-lanterns. On day 94 I started the terraforming at the other side, making sure to light as I go. I started slopes up to the temple. At night, checked out the mobs at the edge of the water and carried on building the framework for the terraforming. I built a section of the wall below the platform to attach it to the new hill, and on day 95, that was the last of my dirt and mud, so I dug up some mud I'd already converted and forgot about, and then dug up some dirt. And with that, it was already night, so removing water and digging up the dirt below the temple. On day 96, I had some new visitors, so I got rid of them and decided it could be fun to start a raid. And as we're playing in Minecraft 1.20.1, we do just get bad omen by killing the illager captain. So with the bad omen effect, I headed over to my iron farm and got up there so I can hopefully shoot all of the raid from a distance. And the first couple of waves were pretty easy, mainly just pillagers, the odd vindicator and witches, which are easy enough to deal with just a bow. The next wave spawned on the hill even further away, so I again just shot from a distance, and this is when the ravagers started spawning, so it was a little bit more difficult. There was also an evoker as well, but as it was really far away, no danger of vexes, and I did get a totem which I equipped straight away. The next wave I couldn't see at first, but it turns out they'd spawned in my sheep pen. So I blocked off the path up with dirt, even though they couldn't get out of the sheep pen, and when I tried shooting at them from above, I was way too close, and the evokers got me with the vexes, and that pops my totem straight away. So I ran away quite quickly and decided to go right around the other side of the base and shoot them from there. This went well, but I did kill about half of my sheep doing this as well, but managed to get my hands on another totem. And then there was just one more wave, again spawned over at the hill, and there was a few evokers on there and a few ravagers to deal with, so basically just shooting hundreds of arrows, but luckily with my infinity bow this wasn't a problem. So after getting that done, I obviously had Hero of the Village, so I went to my trading hall to see what I could get from them, but then remembered this doesn't work at night. So on day 97 I hung around the trading hall to gather my gifts, and not really worth it. But at least I do have 3 totems from the raid. And with that, thunderstorm, things are going well. So I got over to the pigs, and I have a lot waiting now. So I killed the first few batches in the smaller pen, but after getting that done, there were not many left. So I jumped in and moved the lightning rod to the bigger pen, and killed a few more, but I definitely need to get myself a looting sword. I then waited around all night in the rain, but no more lightning strikes. I am happy with another 8 gold ingots from this though, but could definitely do with a looting sword. On day 98, back to terraforming the hill below the platform, and went to move the pigs but ran out of carrots, so did a quick carrot harvest and replant, and moved some of the pigs over to the smaller pen and bred them up. On day 99, I built some more of the wall around the upper platform to extend it down into the new hill, and continued around the side with the packed mud and texturing with the mushroom blocks, getting there, but so much more to do. I continued this through the night with the rest of my packed mud, and carried on with the terraforming. And as the sun rose on the final day, I was happy with the progress, but had to move on to the last job. And that is the exact same thing I did on the last day of the first 100 days in this challenge, and that is spreading the water further out so the mobs wouldn't spawn, and it looks a lot better. Slimes were helpful as always, and I could definitely do with getting myself depth strider on my boots. And as the sun set, I sailed back to the base to have another look around. And as the sun rose, that was the end of these 300 days. There it is, another 100 days over, and very good progress. I will admit though, it has taken a really long time to get this done, more than a year since the 200 days video, but I am very happy with the progress so far. And yes, it's definitely not done yet, and there will be another one. 400 days is definitely happening, and hopefully it will happen much quicker than this one. So thank you so much if you're still watching this point, and if you haven't yet, please do leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you again next time. Thanks for watching everyone, bye bye.